welcome to my video. This is a review on the Mahagiri Hotel Resort on Nusa, Lembongan. We stayed there in August 2022. It was a lovely place to stay. We loved it so much, I've decided to do a bit of a review on the resort or the hotel myself. It's an important one to get the word out about a place that I think is very good, and hopefully you will agree with me at the end of this, by the end of this video. The hotel was pretty aesthetic to look at. The decor was pleasing. Problem for older people, which I feel like I'm heading in that direction, is that we were 2 stories up and there was no lift. I mean, that's a minor detail, but as you get a bit older, I think it restricts older people from going up for the better views. But if that's all I got to complain about, well, there's not much you can say. The dining room was pretty big, pretty massive. The breakfast was like you just help yourself in the morning. That was okay. There were towels near the pool, so each day you were able to get a new towel. I did diving, so I used to take a towel for diving, so that was good to have fresh towels whenever you needed them. The only problem I found, which I'll talk about later, was it's a lovely sandy area between the hotel and the beach, but at the moment when we were there in August, you couldn't use the beach because they were seaweed farming. The whole front was taken over by seaweed farming. The room itself was pretty good. I had a TV. I liked that painting, or not the painting, the picture on the wall. I thought that was very good. Being a diver, it was very pleasing to the eye to see that. The balcony, the view, again, that was pretty good. We used to sit out there quite a bit and just stare out in the horizon. It was lovely at sunsets, taking the pictures of the sun setting in the distance. The service was very good. The people, I felt, the people that worked there were relatively new to it, because due to the pandemic that came along and changed the world forever, so to speak. I think a lot of the people that were working in hospitality in 2019 and before moved on to other areas of employment. So there was a lot of new opportunities for younger people. They'll become excellent people in the future, but sometimes there is a problem with English understanding. But again, that's only a minor critique, and I'm sure it'll change in the future. Big crowd here for lunch today. Hey? Here's some aerial shots of the hotel I took with my drone to give you an idea of the beach. And it was high tide there, so you couldn't really see the effect of the seaweed farming, but in low tide you are able to see it, and you'll see videos of that later. So now I'll talk a little bit about the seaweed farming. As you can see, Nusa Lembongan is a beautiful place. During the COVID pandemic, Nusa Lembongan and its residents were particularly hit hard. The residents of the island were mostly totally dependent on tourism and the tourism-related industry for their income. And with the shutdown of the global travel industry, tourists very soon stopped arriving. Almost overnight, income stopped, and many residents were left without any means to support themselves. Prior to the mass tourism, seaweed farming in the waters surrounding Nusa Lembongan was the primary source of income for many on the island. Once tourism arrived, many residents gave up farming to work in the more lucrative tourism industry. A few families, however, remained farming the seaweed, but not in the numbers that they once did. Once the pandemic hit, many of the residents saw resuming farming, seaweed farming, as a way to support themselves and their community. Seaweed farmers, like their land-based counterparts, stake a claim to a rectangular plot of the inshore seabed. This is then staked out with a number of bamboo poles at opposite ends of the plot. Rope is then tied between the posts, each length spanning the length of their plot. The seaweed then gets tied to this rope and is allowed to grow naturally until it is ready for harvest. There are so many of these rectangular plots, stretching almost as far as the eye can see. Between each plot, the seabed is kept clear, and these become the pathways for accessing the fields. The farmers grow two distinct varieties of seaweed. There's a fast-growing brown type, and then there's the more valuable yet slower growing green variety. There is a mix of both types grown, and it is up to the individual farmers which variety they grow. The farmers tend their fields regularly. The fields can, however, only be accessed during the low tides. This requires the farmers to synchronise their work days and their nights with the fall and rise of the tides. Whether this occurs at dawn or dusk, in the middle of the night or the heat of the day, the tides wait for no person, and the work must be done each day and every day. All we see is the sea. Yep, coming now. Life is best in flip-flops.
Yeah, so you can get a back and shoulder, foot and leg match, that's what you need. I might get a
$20. See, that's okay. Or you could get your
No.
ear treatment.
Just see what they've got on the menu.
Do you want to go for? Have a look out here, Leanne. Now it's time for sleep time. Let's have a look at the bathroom. Pretty cool.